Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to brahwegotthis. My name is Adam, and today we are doing one of our first builds in a long time. I haven't really been motivated to do a build here in the channel, but this one was actually submitted to me by our editor, Selena. And I really like this build. It seems really fun, and since they've updated the vampire skill line a little bit in this next upcoming update 37 patch, I thought it'd be cool to feature this build here on the channel. Thank you again to all my patrons and members. I really do appreciate it. You get all your names up here in the screen. You get access to many other perks and much more. Check out all that down below in the description. Let's see if we can hit 250 likes on this video. Let's go ahead and not waste any time. Let's jump into it. So with this vampire build, Selena gave me kind of an outline for it, and I kind of made this fashion. I really like this fashion actually, so I enjoy it. But let's just kind of go into the nitty gritty of this build. This is 64 points into magicka for the attributes. I'm running a high elf necromancer, and Selena had said that really you can do any race, but we're trying to focus on spell damage for this build. So I went with high elf, and a necromancer kind of fits the theme as well. She said that she wanted it to be kind of like the thrall, like, you know, raising the dead, like kind of sucking life from things like a vampire would. So we went with the necromancer, and here are the stats of this build. You've got 30.7k max magicka, 29.6k max health, 13k max stamina, 3569 spell damage, and 17.4% spell critical. Now these numbers probably will go up when you have certain buffs or when certain things happen because of passives and just because of your abilities. And I do want to mention that she did say this is not a high-end vampire build. You know, you're not going to clear high-end content with this, but with the update to the mist skill, or the elusive mist skill from ZeniMax, when they updated the vampire line, vampire is a little bit more viable now, and so this is more of an RP and just a fun build that you can clear a lot of content in the game with. I soloed a world boss that you will see through the footage here, and so you can clear a lot of the content in the game, I believe, with this, because most builds, if you just know how to play it and you know what to do, you can clear most of the content. It's not usually an issue, but this is not designed for high-end parsing or high-end raids or anything like that. So I just wanted to let you all know that, in case you're wondering why maybe the stats are low or if you're not hitting as hard. But I will say that vampire builds in the past, when they nerfed them basically in Greymoor, they felt so bad to use, but this actually is pretty fun to use. And so from the limited play that I've had of it, it's been pretty enjoyable actually. So that's the stats. We're using the Apprentice Mundus Stone, and we are using Witch Mother's Potent Brew for the food. This will give us max magicka, max health, and magic recovery. And I found that I think Vampire Stage 2 is probably going to be the best for us, just from a passive that we have that is nice. So Vampire Stage 2 is something that you can go into for that. Now let's go ahead and go into the armor. So the armor is, we're running a mythic item, Gaze of Sithis. This is helping us with really just mitigation. We're using a max magicka enchant divines traits on all the armor, but Gaze of Sithis gives us nice health pool, health recovery, nice armor, and again, it's just nice for that mitigation. Obviously we don't have block mitigation, but we are soaking up some of that damage from this, and it actually is really nice. You're a little tanky. But the armor pieces, running 5 pieces of spell strategist, so chest, belt, shoes, legs, and gloves. This is a PvP Cyrodiil set. You can buy this on Guild Traders. Divines, max magicka. So what this does is adds max magicka, weapon, and spell damage. When you deal damage with a light attack, you place a mark over your target for 5 seconds, granting you 460 weapon and spell damage against your marked target. This effect can occur every 4 seconds. So it's a nice little set there for weapon and spell damage. And the one piece, you can just use any monster one piece that adds weapon or spell damage. You can also add crit chance if you want, but we are again trying to go into spell damage. So I'm just using Kjolnir's Nightmare here. There's a lot of monster sets that give you a one piece weapon and spell damage buff. Now for the jewelry, we're using Crimson armor set, or jewelry and weapon from Castle Thorn Dungeon. And so Crimson is the jewelry is all bloodthirsty and magic recovery enchantments, but what Crimson does, it gives us basically 2400 max health. It adds 4% healing taken. After taking damage, you surround yourself in an 8-meter mist of blood. After 2 seconds, the mist is violently siphoned into your body, dealing 4043 bleed damage to nearby enemies, healing you for 100% of the damage done. This is kind of the vampire RP effect. I love this item set. It's one of my favorite sets in the game, and so I really like this. And then we have the Crimson Lightning Staff. Again, it's just with a life drain enchantment and Nirnhold trait. The other staff we're using is the Vadishan lightning staff. So this is decisive and absorb magic and enchant, and so this will go with our weakness to elements, which we will get to in the skill bar. I will mention that Kenizev said she did clear Maelstrom and Vadishan Hollows with this build, and so that is something that you guys can keep in mind when you are playing this build. So it can clear some content, but I'm just letting you all know again that it is not meant to be for like high-end parsing like she said. Now let's go to the skills. So our back bar, start with the back bar. We're using Unstable Wall of Storms, Elemental Drain for our Vadishan Hollow staff. We're using Summoner's Armor, Skeletal Arcanist, and Spirit Guardian. So Unstable Wall is just a nice AoE. Elemental Drain will apply Major Breach, which will help you do essentially more damage. It also applies Minor Magicka Steal, so it'll give you Magicka back. The Summoner's Armor will give you spell and physical resistance from Major Resolve. You will also reduce the cost of Blast Bones, Skeletal Mage, and Spirit Mender by 15%. And so right here, we've got our Skeletal Arcanist and our Spirit Guardian. So that will be reduced because some of these are actually increased due to our vampirism, right? But this Skeletal Arcanist just does shock damage to enemies, so it's a pet essentially. These all create corpses. Spirit Guardian will be healing us as well, and 10% of the damage you take is transferred to the spirit instead. We're running the Pestilent Colossus, which is just a massive hitter on the ultimate. And so let's go to the front bar. Front bar, Arterial Burst from the Vampire line. This is going to deal 8,537 magic damage. It deals up to 33% more damage based on your missing health. Uses ability while you're under 50% health. It will always be a critical strike, so that is something really nice. We're using Empowering Grasp, so this will inflict Minor Maim, and we have Major Breach from this. And so Minor Maim, which will empower your allies and enhance the damage and healing of your summons by 1,000. Each effect will last 10 seconds. You have Stupefy, not the Disturb Stone, but Stupefy will stun enemies, which is nice. And then we have the skilled Blood Mist, which actually is not terrible anymore. And so what this is going to do is the next 3 projectiles deal no damage to you for 1 second while you dash forward and reappear at your target location after a short duration. Upon activation, you drain the blood of those around you for 20 seconds, dealing 1605 magic damage every 2 seconds to the enemies, healing you for 45% of the damage cost. Casting again within 4 seconds costs 33% more magicka, so you don't want to do that. Necrotic Potency is a great skill as well from the Necromancer. While you slot it, your damage taken is reduced by 3%, and you will get 6 ultimate and healing back 1266 health every 1 second for 2 seconds per additional corpse that you sap up. So when you kill enemies or when you create corpses yourself, you can sap that up and recharge your ultimate and give you health, which is really nice. This scales off your max health too, so we're almost at 30k max health, which will be nice. We're using Swarming Scion Vampire Ultimate. This is just a massive AoE ultimate essentially, where you have bats swarm around you. Your health and everything increases. Max health, match magicka, and stamina by 10,000, and you will heal for 15% of all the damage you deal. So it's really cool, and it's just a cool vampire themed like skill bar there. For passives, I will say that you could take all the vampire passives. The ones that we really like though are while you're in vampire stage, when you leave sneak, invisibility, or mistform, your weapon or spell damage is increased by 300 for 6 seconds. That's at vampire stage 2 or higher. That's why I wanted to be vampire stage 2. This is really one of the most important things because that's a nice bump for 6 seconds. So every time you use your mistform, basically it gets a bump of 300 spell damage, which is really cool. For your classes, you could get all of the passives for Necromancer. I think they're all really good. You can get all the Destruction Staff passives as well, and then of course your racial high elf passives, which is really nice to have. This also is increasing our weapon spell damage, so again, that's why I chose the high elf. But that is the skills section. When it comes to the CP that Kenizev had suggested is using Deadly Aim slotted, Master at Arms slotted, Biting Aura slotted, and Wrathful Strike slotted. Another on the red tree, she had Rejuvenation slotted, Fortified slotted, Boundless Vitality slotted, and Siphoning Spells. Green is really up to you. Now, when it comes to the rotation and everything like that, this is something that, again, I feel like is very reactive, but it's something that you can definitely play around with. I've only played a little bit of it, but what you're really always going to want to do is you're always going to want to have your pets out, so your mage, your mender, and then you can use your armor here to give you that resistances, but you want to pop your weakness of elements, so you see that tether that comes from the Vadishan staff. and then you can pop your wall and then switch bars, because that tether will stay, as you see, and that tether is nice. So you want to definitely keep that up. As you saw there, that guardian went down, same with that mage, and that's a corpse. That's what a corpse looks like, right? So if we use necrotic potency, we'll sap that up, gain ultimate and health back. But let's go back to the back bar. So again, I'll put my armor up, my mage, my mender, weakness to elements, and my staff. I'll switch bars, and you can kind of go into blood mist, and that's what blood mist looks like to get it going. It's 20 seconds long, and then after that it's really just empowering grasp to give you that minor maim, and then you want to spam arterial burst. This is kind of like your spammable single target spammable. And yeah, Stupefy does not work on bosses. You can use it on, you know, ads and stuff like that, but that's basically what you need to do. It's a very reactive rotation, and again, it's not something that is going to hit super hard, but it is tanky. It does heal you, and you can stay alive for a while, and it's just really, really fun and cool to do, honestly. Like, I personally just really like the idea behind this, and so that is basically the rotation in a nutshell. Again, if you want to see the vampire, I have some footage that we'll be playing that is basically me soloing the war boss in Blackwood. And yeah, so it's just a fun build, guys. If you want to play vampire, if you want to do something that is very flavorful and that can clear content, this is a build I think that you guys will like just from playing it a little bit. I think it's just something that would be really, really fun for players of that nature. But if you guys did like this build, leave a comment below, let Selena know that you liked it. Obviously you can customize this build to however you want, but it's just something, again, I think it's really fun, especially for like a casual player, and you can still clear some content with it. But if you did like it, make sure to leave a like for us and let us know down in the comment section. But until next time, y'all, just remember, have faith, be great, and I'll see you guys on ESO.